Let's talk about the pros and cons of when things go wrong, when you're doing an interview, when you're doing something that you can't edit. For NPR, which is so perfect, I think that it can add humanity. You really think about polish when you think about NPR. Even if you listen to that guy, I think it adds something to the fact that we know that they're not clipping that thing together. He is that smooth on the mic. So I think the NPR has a situation where a dog occasionally, not all the time, actually adds something to the broadcast. Casey Kasem. You know the Casey Kasem situation. Casey Kasem is going off, mad about coming out of an upbeat number and going into a death dedication. Remember those requests and dedications he used to do? Somebody wrote in, a little dog named Snuggles had died. They had a request and also a dedication to Snuggles. But Casey Kasem is coming out of a Pointer Sisters song. So he went off. He went off on the production team. Probably somebody from the production team, felt belittled, let those tapes out into the wild. They are legendary. This was pre-internet. These things were being passed around from radio jocks to radio jock, from tape collector to tape collector. And, of course, it's all over the internet now. They asked Casey about this years later, and here's what he said. He said it added to the humanity. It showed I'm a real person. I make mistakes, too. I get angry, too. It didn't hurt me like I thought that it would. So let's talk about for you. What happens when you get into a situation where there's a fire engine going by, a dog going by? Will it help you in this way? The answer is maybe. While something like this can help you, it can also make you look amateur or make you look like you don't care. And I think that's the biggest thing, if it makes you look like you don't care about your audience. It's for this reason that I think you should do something if you can. But if you can't, if you're on somebody else's show, don't get too caught up in it. It's not that big a deal as long as it doesn't happen a lot. Dogs barking, put the dog up. Mobile phones going off. Sometimes you can have fun with that. Sometimes I'll be in the music business radio studios. A phone will go off. I make people answer it. We've gotten some funny calls that way. Sometimes it's one famous person calling another famous person. You never know. But it only happens once. You don't want it to constantly interrupt every single element of the episode. If they're that busy, they don't need to be in your studio with you. Kids, spouses interrupting, that needs to be controlled. If you can control it, that needs to be controlled. Because again, the issue is you're not caring about your audience. That's the downside of this, and that's how it can come across. If it appears that you don't think that that person listening is the most important person in the room, you're not going to win that person over. People will understand dogs. People will understand fire engines. They're going to understand the occasional mistake. Hey, somebody left a cell phone on accidentally. But they're not going to understand why somebody is constantly interrupting you, asking whatever they're asking you when you're supposed to be spending time with a listener. So to wrap things up, the most important thing in this situation, ask yourself this. Does the listener know that I care about him? And if it happens, just like it did on NPR, let it happen. Keep moving forward.